For me, when I sat down, I was like, you know what? I probably would have ran way faster if I'd continued. If I knew that spikes would have gotten to that level, maybe I would.
For 16 years, Usain Bolt's 100-meter world record of 9.58 seconds has stood as the gold standard in track and field. Set in 2009 at the Berlin World Championships, it was the kind of performance that seemed almost untouchable. But now, Bolt himself has admitted that with today's shoe technology, he believes he could have run even faster, an astonishing 9.42 seconds. This claim comes on the heels of a new scientific study led by Wouter Hoogkamer at the University of Massachusetts. His team, known for earlier research on Nike's Vaporfly shoes, analyzed modern sprint spikes from top brands. With Puma funding the project, researchers simulated how Bolt's performances might have changed had he been running in carbon-plated spikes with advanced foams. Their detailed 21-page report suggests that Bolt would have cut 0.16 seconds off his world record. For a race that lasts under 10 seconds, that's a massive leap. When asked about the study, Bolt didn't hesitate. "I fully agree with it," he said in Tokyo, where he is attending the World Athletics Championships to present medals for the men's 100 meters. He pointed to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, his fellow Jamaican sprinter, who continued competing after Bolt retired and saw her times improve with the new spikes. "I probably would have run way faster with them too," he admitted. Hoogkamer's team built their projection using data from 15 athletes and sophisticated mathematical models. They factored in energy return, efficiency, and how shoe construction affects sprint mechanics. The result? An argument that Bolt's unmatched stride length, turnover, and top-end speed would have been amplified by spikes built with modern super shoe technology. In short, physics supports what Bolt himself believes. 9.42 was within reach. The technology in question isn't new to distance running. Since 2019, super shoes have transformed the marathon and middle distance races, helping athletes set records at an unprecedented rate. In 2025 alone, 10 world records across multiple events have been broken with the help of these advancements. Sprinting, however, has only more recently embraced the same innovations, and their impact is becoming impossible to ignore. Despite acknowledging the shoe's benefits, Bolt has never tested Puma's latest sprint spikes. At 39 years old, he said, "I don't want to pull my hamstrings, but the shoes are clearly good." His caution makes sense, but his confidence in the research is telling. Though he retired in 2017, Bolt remains a towering figure in athletics. He won 8 Olympic gold medals and multiple world titles in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and relay events, and he set the 200-meter world record at 19.19 seconds. His charisma and dominance made him much more than just a sprinter, a global icon. Now, he's back on the world stage in Tokyo, not racing, but helping out as a presenter and mentor. Interestingly, this is Bolt's first world championship since he last raced in London in 2017. He admitted that watching his fellow Jamaicans compete is often more stressful than racing himself. "I have seen Shelly-Ann and the other guys compete down the years, and I have always got so nervous watching them," he confessed. But Bolt isn't just there to reminisce. He's offering bold predictions about the upcoming men's 100-meter final. He believes his countrymen Kishane Thompson and Oblique Seville are primed to take down reigning Olympic champion Noah Lyles. "They should be 1-2 because they have proved throughout the season that they are on top and are running fast," Bolt said. "Now it's just about one of them executing, and it should be fine. I'm very confident they can get it done." While Bolt acknowledges the talent in today's field, he doesn't believe his 9.58 will fall anytime soon. "At this present moment, I don't see any athlete able to break the record," he said. "It's been 13 years since anyone ran under 9.7 seconds, and Bolt isn't expecting that to change soon." Bolt highlighted Kishane Thompson's 9.75 earlier this year, the fastest time in over a decade. But even that, Bolt insists, is still far off. "The talent is there, and those who are coming up will do well," he acknowledged. "But at this present moment, I don't think they will be able to break the world record." Bolt even joked that if anyone is going to break the record, he hopes it might be one of his children someday. "I've always hoped that maybe one of my kids, my boys, will do track and field," he said. "I don't know. They're not showing any talent yet. Hopefully they'll get better. We'll see." Bolt's comments also touched on rivalries past and present. While Noah Lyles has declared that he has Kishane Thompson in his pocket, Bolt brushed it off. He compared the situation to his battles with Justin Gatlin, describing Gatlin as a different breed in terms of trash talk. "I never listen to anybody," Bolt said. "When I'm preparing and I'm ready, you can say whatever you want. You're not going to beat me." That mindset defined Bolt's era. Supreme focus and belief that no external noise could shake him. It's part of what made him untouchable on the track, and it's advice today's athletes could still use. Bolt's 9.42 comment isn't just about what might have been. It underscores how much technology is reshaping sports. From running shoes to swimming suits to cycling equipment, advancements often push the limits of what athletes can do. But Bolt's words carry special weight because they come from the man who already pushed sprinting into new territory. Even if his record stands for decades, the study sparks debate. Should records be compared across eras when technology changes so much? For Bolt, the answer is simple. The shoes are better now, and had he used them, he would have been faster. Yet what truly resonates in his remarks is the blend of pride and humility. He knows his record is safe for now, but he also acknowledges the tools today's sprinters have at their disposal. He's proud of his legacy, but excited to see where the next generation goes. Usain Bolt's announcement that he could have run 9.42 in modern super spikes adds another layer to his legendary status. It validates what science suggests and what fans have long suspected, that Bolt wasn't just great, he was capable of even more. At the same time, his confidence in Jamaica's current sprinters shows his role has shifted from record setter to mentor and supporter. Whether his 9.58 stands forever or eventually falls, Bolt's name will always be tied to speed, excellence, and charisma. And if the study is right, we're left imagining a world where the fastest man alive somehow ran even faster. For now, his message is clear. The legend continues, just in a different form.
It's all about getting everything right. You know what I mean? It's never just easy. It's always easier when you're younger because I was there. I used to do great things when I was young, but...
The fastest man in history has spoken out, and he didn't hold back. Usain Bolt has a clear warning for 17-year-old sprinting sensation Gout. As excitement continues to grow around the young Australian athlete, Bolt's words have made fans and experts take notice, wondering what challenges might lie ahead for this rising star. Gout has been turning heads and breaking records, and some people in Australia are already saying he could win gold at the 2032 Olympics. But now, Bolt has given a serious reminder, one that has many people thinking twice. Talent alone, Bolt said in Tokyo before the World Championships, won't get you to the top. It's never that easy. That message cuts through the excitement, because while Gout's race times are impressive, Bolt knows what it really takes to become the best in the world. Born in Ipswich, Queensland in 2007, Gout has gone from school sports days to the world stage in just a few years. At only 16, he ran the 200 meters in 20.04 seconds, breaking an Australian record that had been untouched since 1968. A few months later, at the Ostrava Golden Spike meet, he beat his own time and ran 20.02 seconds. And that's not all. He also ran 2 races under 20 seconds with the help of a strong tailwind, 19.84 and 19.98 seconds. These don't count as official records, but they show just how fast he really is. Gout now ranks among the top 7 runners in the world under age 20 for the 200 meters. And remember, he's still in high school. In Australia, the media is already calling him the future of sprinting. Coaches say he's the real deal. Fans have started comparing the way he runs to Bolt himself. But is all this attention coming too soon? The comparisons are hard to ignore. Gout's upright running, high knees, and powerful speed look a lot like Bolt's famous style. Gout even talked about it in an interview, saying, "Although I do run like Usain Bolt, I do maybe look like him in a couple of ways. I'm just trying to be myself." But Bolt's message was honest, not just praise. He's very talented with the times he's running now, Bolt said. But the transition from junior to senior is always tougher. Bolt explained that talent is important, but it's not everything. What really counts is having good coaches, staying focused, handling pressure, and having the right people around you. It's all about getting everything right, Bolt said. It's all about if you get the right coach, the right people around you, if you're focused enough. If someone else had said it, it might sound like basic advice, but when it comes from Bolt, it means a lot more. He's not just a retired runner, he's the best there's ever been. He broke world records and won Olympic gold medals by age 22. And he knows how hard it is to go from young talent to world champion. Bolt didn't win everything right away. He had to deal with injuries, mistakes, and tough lessons before reaching the top. Gout is being pushed into the spotlight much earlier. This week, he'll run the 200 meters at the World Championships in Tokyo against top runners like Noah Lyles and Kenny Bednarek. That's what worries Bolt. Gout has amazing talent, but he's still just a teenager. He's not only racing, he's also finishing school, dealing with media interviews, fan attention, and people already planning his future. Some are calling him the next Bolt, and many expect him to win Olympic gold in Brisbane in 2032. Handling all that pressure is its own challenge. In the moment, it feels great because everyone wants to be compared to Usain, Gout admitted, but at times it does get a bit overwhelming. Luckily, Gout has good support around him. His longtime coach Di Shepherd believed in him early. His agent James Templeton kept him away from too much media attention over the last year and a half to help him stay grounded. Even his name has caught attention. Some people think it should be spelled Goot to match his South Sudanese background, but his team says it will stay Gout for now. Now he's getting ready for the World Championships in Tokyo. He's ranked 16th in the world for the 200 meters, and he's almost 4 years younger than most of the top runners. Most of the others are Olympians. Still, legendary Australian sports commentator Bruce McAvaney says, don't count him out. It's possible for him to reach the 200-meter final in Tokyo, which would be an extraordinary achievement at his age. Even Usain Bolt couldn't do that. Even if Gout doesn't win a medal, the world will be watching closely. Can he keep up with Noah Lyles, who's the defending champion? Can he beat Bednarek, who has 2 Olympic silver medals? It won't be easy, but Bolt has made one thing clear. This is the moment that will show us what Gout is really made of. Bolt isn't trying to bring Gout down. He wants him to succeed. But he's also seen what happens when young stars get too much pressure too fast. His advice is real. Get the right team, stay humble, train smart, and don't get lost in the attention. You want athletes to do well. The more athletes do well, the bigger the sport is, Bolt said. And I'm always a supporter of track and field getting bigger and doing bigger things. Gout's plan? Stay calm and focused. My top-end speed is my secret, he said. So I've just got to focus on the first 100, the first 50. Once I get out of that bend, I know I can run people down. Born to South Sudanese parents who moved to Australia in 2006, Gout grew up in Ipswich, just outside Brisbane. He was discovered at a school sports event in 2020. By age 12, he was competing in big school meets. At 13, he joined Coach Shepherd's training team. At 16, he signed a sponsorship with Adidas. He's already won silver at the World Junior Championships in Peru. He raced against Lyles in the US and came home to dominate Australia's track season. He won the 200 meters at the Australian Championships, becoming the country's top young sprinter. With Tokyo just around the corner, the spotlight is on him. No matter how he finishes at the World Championships, Gout's journey is just beginning. The road to the 2032 Olympics is long, and Bolt's warning might be the advice that keeps him on track. The biggest challenge isn't just running, it's staying focused, making smart choices, and growing without burning out. If he listens to the right people, Gout could lead a new era in sprinting. But there's not much room for mistakes. Too much pressure, bad coaching, or injury could change everything quickly. That's why Bolt's words matter. It's not about being afraid, it's about being smart. Because if Gout listens, learns, and stays strong, we might be watching the rise of a future legend. And who better to guide him than Usain Bolt?
Shelley Fraser Price, as you would expect. Hobbs of New Zealand on the outside. Now comes the American Hobbs. Aaliyah Hobbs is right there. She goes through.
When you see a 38-year-old mother outrunning college athletes and Olympic champions, you might think it's some kind of magic trick. But Shelley Fraser Price is very real, and she's about to compete in her final race. The Jamaican sprinter known as the Pocket Rocket stands just 5 feet tall, but she's created one of the biggest legacies in track and field history. With 3 Olympic gold medals and 10 World Championship titles under her belt, Fraser Price has been dominating the 100-meter dash for nearly 2 decades. Now, at an age when most sprinters have long since retired, she's preparing for one last hurrah at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. chapter almost never happened. Last year's Paris Olympics were supposed to be her grand finale, her perfect goodbye to the sport that made her famous. Instead, it turned into her worst nightmare. On the day of the 100-meter final, Fraser-Pryce arrived at the stadium ready to race.
I don't really care for the opinions of others because I find that even when I had my son, when there were a lot of persons who thought that, having a baby and coming back was not going to be good, or turning 30 and then 35 and,
She'd been using the same entrance gate throughout the entire Olympics without any problems. But on the most important day of her games, security suddenly denied her entry. She wasn't alone. Other top sprinters, including America's Sha'Carri Richardson, faced the same issue. For 30 agonizing minutes, Fraser-Pryce stood outside the stadium arguing with officials. She watched as busloads of other athletes passed by, witnessing her humiliation. When she finally made it to the warm-up track, a full hour behind schedule, nothing felt right anymore. Sprinters are creatures of habit, and her routine had been completely destroyed. Fraser-Pryce later revealed what happened next changed everything. For the first time in her entire career, she had a panic attack. The woman who had overcome injuries, setbacks, and every challenge the sport could throw at her simply couldn't make it to the starting line. She withdrew from the semifinal, officially due to an injury sustained during warm-up, but the real damage was mental. Fraser-Pryce said this to reporters, "I didn't get the opportunity to do what I know I could have done in that moment, and it was hurtful. It was the first time in my entire career that I've never been able to step to a line to compete." That devastating experience in Paris could have been the end of her story, but Fraser-Pryce isn't built to quit on someone else's terms. She decided to delay her retirement by a year, giving herself one more chance to say goodbye properly. The journey back to competition started in the most unlikely place, her son's school sports day. When the school organized a parents' race, most people probably expected Fraser-Pryce to take it easy. Maybe let some regular mom or dad have a moment of glory against a world champion. They were wrong. Fraser-Pryce absolutely destroyed the competition, beating every other parent by what observers called a veritable mile. Drone footage of the race shows just how dominant she was. When asked if she ever considered holding back, her response was classic. She said, "I would never do that. It's not in my DNA to do it. What amazes me is that they actually think they stood a chance." This competitive fire has been burning since she was a child growing up in Waterhouse, a working-class neighborhood in Kingston. Fraser-Pryce shared a bed with her two brothers and mother in a house that didn't even have an indoor toilet. Her first real memory of track and field came when she was watching Jamaica's relay team win gold at the 2004 Athens Olympics. She was sitting in her aunt's doorway, watching on borrowed cable TV, and when Jamaica crossed the finish line, she jumped so hard she hit the zinc fences around the tenement yard. That moment sparked something special. In 2007, as an uncertain teenager, Fraser-Pryce traveled to Osaka, Japan for her first senior world championships as a reserve for the relay team. She remembers being so unsure of who I was, very mediocre goals, just happy to be there. 1 year later, at the Beijing Olympics, she shocked the world. The 21-year-old with braces won the 100-meter gold medal, leading another Jamaican sweep. Her goal had been simply to make the final, but she walked away as Olympic champion. The 2012 London Olympics confirmed she wasn't a one-hit wonder. Fraser-Pryce successfully defended her title, officially joining the ranks of sprinting legends. But her story was just getting started. In 2017, everything changed again when her son Zion was born. Fraser-Pryce sat on her bed and cried when she learned she was pregnant, not from joy, but from fear. Friends were already congratulating her on what they assumed was the end of her career. The conventional wisdom said that motherhood meant retirement for female sprinters. Fraser-Pryce had other plans. "Everyone's entitled to their opinion," she said. "I knew how I felt, and I knew I wasn't ready to go. I had something left to do, and I stayed focused on the goal." 2 years later, she proved every doubter wrong by winning the 2019 World Championships in Doha. Standing on that podium as both world champion and mother, Fraser-Pryce knew she had achieved something bigger than personal success. She told this to World Athletics. "When I crossed that line, I knew it was a victory, not just for me, but for so many other women, for so many other mothers." she wasn't finished dismantling stereotypes. In 2022, at age 35, Fraser-Pryce won her 5th consecutive world 100-meter title in Oregon. This came after Jamaica's Elaine Thompson-Herah had dominated the Tokyo Olympics, seemingly passing the torch to a new generation. Fraser-Pryce's response was defiant. So many people believe that when women turn 35, it somehow diminishes our gift, our talent. But I'm still able to line up and compete, and that is very special. Now, 38 years old, Fraser-Pryce admits she's not running the same times she once did. Her personal best of 10.60 seconds makes her the 3rd fastest woman in history. But this season, she's been running closer to 11 seconds. At the recent Brussels Diamond League meet, she finished 4th in 11.17 seconds, behind rising stars like Melissa Jefferson Wooden and world champion Sha'Carri Richardson.